Yet another beautiful evening for the NILECAST news at West Nile Television. My name is Oraku Benson Pastore, the anchor tonight, and today happens to be 2nd of December and the year remains 2025. That means we are only left with something of around 29 days to end this particular year of 2025. But for Christmas, we are only left with 23 days. That means you can start counting down. As I had said, my name is Oraku Benson Pastore, and I will first take you through the headlines, and then I will be coming back with the details after a few seconds.
In the headlines tonight, Adjumani District commemorates International World AIDS Day. The general public urged to emulate the legacy of Dr. Professor Christine Drazor. And the Elderly Catholic Mothers Association commissioned in Nebi Catholic Diocese. This and more in the NILECAST News Bulletin.
Today we are commencing our stories from Greater Madi region, particularly from Adjumani district. And yesterday was World AIDS Day celebration, and one of our reporters, of course, covered what transpired yesterday in Adjumani. And here comes the story. Adjumani district joined the rest of the world to commemorate the International World AIDS Day that was celebrated yesterday at Adjumani Model Senior Secondary School playgrounds. And this year's celebration is under the theme building a sustainable HIV response to end AIDS as public health threat. Therefore, stakeholders are expected to renew commitment to prevent and stigma reduction while highlighting progress and rewinding gaps in fight against HIV/AIDS. First, take a look at how things transpired that side.
Adjumani District joined the rest of the world to commemorate the International World AIDS Day 2025 at Adjumani Model Senior Secondary School playgrounds under the theme Building a Sustainable HIV Response to End AIDS as a Public Health Threat, where leaders, partners, and community members are expected to renew their commitment to prevention, treatment and stigma reduction, and rewinding gaps to fight HIV and AIDS. Koma Christine, a young mother, appealed to the fellow youths to embrace abstinence because early pregnancy and HIV is real.
For my brothers who are here today, I want to encourage you guys, go back to school. For you who are there in village, try to give them advice so that they go back to school like the way I am today.
Adima Joseph, the program manager at Fawe, stated that as an institution they have committed resources to disrupt the spread of HIV and AIDS and teenage pregnancy among young adults in schools.
As Fawe, we commit resources. We commit resources to ensure that we have intervention that disrupt the spread of HIV, intervention that disrupt GBV in the community. Fawe has been here for quite long. And as far as we have been able to inject funds into various activities that we see contribute to reduction of HIV among young people, contribute to reduction of violence amongst our families, so that we're able to protect the girl child, protect the boy child, make sure that our families are safe, that can be able to nurture young people.
Dr. Trametu Dominic, the District Health Officer at Adjumani District Local Government, stated that nationally HIV and AIDS prevalence of 2022 stands at 5.1%, which West Nile gives it 2.3%. He further stated that Adjumani District trends more than West Nile with percentages of 2.5%, pointing to 110 new infections and undiscovered ones amidst people.
Nationally, the HIV prevalence as of 2022, UDHS stands at 5.1%. The one of West Nile is at 2.3%. The one of Adjumani is 2.4%. You can see our prevalence is higher than the average of West Nile. We are in West Nile region. knee infections. The last 1 year from July last year to June this year, we had 110 new infections. These are the confirmed ones. We still have those which are not tested, and we still have those who do not know the status. Government of Uganda, the Ministry of Health, has put several strategies to ensure that we make HIV history by 2025. Including malaria. That malaria is getting history.
Atim Brenda, from the Office of the Prime Minister Ajimani Refugee Desk Office, stated that the commemoration is a way of creating awareness as a well advocacy to the world as HIV and AIDS is real and kills.
Commemorations are our way of awareness, advocacy as well. We advocate and remind the world to be able to remember that AIDS is real and it's a killer disease. With the theme we have today, we have building a sustainable HIV response to end HIV as a public health threat. I'm very grateful that we are having FAWE with the referral pathway as well. Under that theme, we realize that we have to work together to attain the theme as it is for this year. The referral pathway enables us to receive all the services from the medical services and a way of prevention.
Emmanuel Okware, the Deputy Resident District Commissioner at Ajimani District, stated that the theme reminds the people that collective effort can accelerate the progress towards HIV and AIDS control.
Focusing on the theme for World AIDS Day, which is overcoming disruption, transforming the AIDS response. This theme focuses on addressing the challenge posed by funding cuts and disruptions to HIV/AIDS and services, vulnerable populations, and promoting sustainable global cooperation and human rights-centered approaches to end AIDS by 2030. But for our case in Uganda, our theme for World AIDS Day being the building a sustainable HIV response to end AIDS as a public health threat, we are reminded that our collective efforts can accelerate progress towards a world where HIV/AIDS is a manageable condition. Uganda has made notable strides in HIV prevention, treatment and care. We've expanded access to antiretroviral therapy, reduced mother-to-child transmission, and promoted awareness. Let us champion inclusivity, education, and support for those living with HIV/AIDS.
As we observe the World AIDS Day, stakeholders have been urged to reaffirm their commitment to ending HIV and AIDS epidemic by bridging the gap and ensuring everyone has access to prevention, treatment, care in order to promote awareness and support in those affected by HIV and AIDS. Onzima Alan, Okumuringa Christine, NILECAST.
Turning our attention away from Greater Mali region and shifting away from health sector, let's now take a look at what is transpiring in education sector and now in our city. During the third memorial lecture for the late Professor Christine Dranjwa at Muni University, that was on Friday, 28th of November 2025, organized by Muni University, FAWE and Western Development Association. Public has been encouraged to emulate the legacy of the former Vice Chancellor of Muni University. The late Professor Christine Dranjwa was a Ugandan university professor, academic administrator, biologist and community leader, and at the time of her death, she was the Vice Chancellor of Muni University. Take a look at the story. The general public is encouraged to emulate the legacy of late Professor Christine Dranjwa, the former Vice Chancellor of Muni University. This was passed during her third memorial lecture at Muni University on Friday, 28th of November 2025, organized by Muni University, Western Development Association and the FAWE, attracting different stakeholders such as the educationists, learning institutions, clergy, her family representatives, civil society organizations, and many more. This year's memorial lecture is driven under the theme, Improving Education Performance in Western Area. Dr. Martha Mwezi, the director of FAWE, encourages the different stakeholders to impress Professor Dranzwa's legacy.
Institutionalize Professor Dranzwa's legacy. And how do we institutionalize her legacy? One of the things I was pointing out was the scholarship fund. The second issue I was to mention is research. And as the third one was annual forums like this one, which should not only start, but should continue. That's how we institutionalize our legacy. Let this lecture be more than a memorial. I will come and talk about all the good things, but let it be more than that. Let it also turn into a movement to transform education in West Nile.
Meanwhile, Joel Aita, chairperson of University Council, appreciates the efforts of late Professor Christine Dranzwa, hence encourages the general public to embrace education.
Professor Christine Dranzwa built this university with his team, with their hands and unbreakable will. She built it to smash the monopoly of mediocrity. She built it to prove that excellency still has a home in West Nile. She warned us. We clapped for her, but we went back to sleep. Today I want to really echo her warning again. If we do not move now, we will not bury one child, or 10, or 100. We will bury an entire generation.
Whereas Buambale Rogers, the 10th grade speaker from university, says they will take every opportunity to see that her legacy lives forever.
On behalf of the university students, Madam Christine Dranzwa, wherever you are, we make a promise, signing continuous one, that as we fight for your t-shirts to put on the memorial lecture, we shall live up to the opportunity and the faith you have placed in us. Students, that promise I have made it on behalf of you all. Let us fight for uplift as we continue to fight for our t-shirts and memorial lectures.
Salia Lezuyo, the family representative of late Professor Christine Dranzwa, says, as the family, they have already established early childhood daycare in Moyo to honor her legacy.
As a family, we are committed to ensuring that her passion for education continues to live on, not only in memory, but in action. In her honor, we have begun the journey of establishing a school that reflects her values of excellence, of empowerment, and equity. We are humbled to share that we have already established a preschool, Smart Pals Kindergarten and daycare in Moyo Town under the umbrella of the Professor Christine Foundation, a foundation that is run by the family. We hope this will provide the little children a place where they can learn, grow, dream big, just as she always envisioned for every child.
Late Christine Dranzwa was a Ugandan university professor, academic administrator, biologist, and community leader, and at the time of her death, she was the vice chancellor from University. Oraku Benson Pastore, compiling the story for Western Television NILECAST. Moving away from the mother city from West Nile region, now moving to Greater Nebi region, more especially in Nebi district. The Nebi Catholic Diocese has commissioned the Elder Catholic Mothers Association on Sunday, 30th of November 2025. The Elder Catholic Mothers Association, led by dedicated leaders like Mary Akwia, Honorable Catherine Akumu Mavenzina, has been instrumental in promoting family values, providing support to vulnerable individuals, and empowering women in the Catholic faith. Take a look at the story from Alfred Jawok.
The Nebi Catholic Diocese has on Sunday, 30th November 2025, commissioned the Elderly Catholic Mothers Association ECMA, building on the strong foundation of the Church, which has been actively supporting families and community development in the diocese. The Elderly Catholic Mothers Association ECMA, led by dedicated leaders like Mera Quia, Honorable Catherine Akuma Venjina, among others, has been instrumental in promoting family values, providing support to vulnerable individuals, and empowering women in the Catholic faith. During the commissioning, Right Reverend Dr. Constantine Ropin, the Bishop of Nebi Catholic Diocese, said the Elderly Catholic Mothers Association is aimed at further strengthening this role of elderly women in the church and community, recognizing their wisdom, experience, and contributions to spiritual growth and development.
Now, these are people who worked very hard in their different professions. You know, some were teachers by profession, some were business people, some also have been in politics, some are still even active in politics, you know. One is a member of parliament, you know, one is now out of politics because also of age, one was also RDC and so forth. So these are people, mothers who have been relevant in the church and in the society, but they don't want to say, oh, now they're elderly, now they're physically weak, they cannot be relevant any longer. No, this is not their approach. They say, yes, even within their capacity, even if they're elderly, but they are still people who can make a contribution to society and even to the church. After all, they're also members of this same church. And what contribution do they make? One of their commitments is to pray for themselves, pray for church members, and pray for the world, that what we live, what we do may indeed be pleasing to God. So they are prayerful people. They are also trying to be exemplary mothers, so that if there's a possibility of talking to young mothers, you know, girls, maybe in schools, in communities, in the church and so forth, they do that. They are willing to doing that, so that you know, they are like mentors, especially to young mothers and so forth. You know, giving them.
Mary Aquia, the president, Elderly Catholic Mothers Association, Nebi Catholic Diocese, highlighted the vital roles played by women associations in the Catholic Church. She advised the newly commissioned members to abide by the Catholic doctrine to strengthen them in faith.
ECMA was started by dynamic women, committed women of Nebi Catholic Diocese. It was started in 2005 and it became active in 2006. Now it has been functioning without the permission of the bishop. So we were advised that we should be commissioned by the bishop, and our constitution should also be legalized by his signature, so that we become real lay apostolate members in the church. And I think from today that we have been commissioned, we are real lay apostolate of the church. And by the way, we have already been doing the church activities ever since it started. We are participating in church activities in different ways, at different levels. We operate at Nebi district, Nebi Cathedral Parish, but when the diocesan activities come, we also participate. So it has been functioning at the parish level, but we are now being asked to extend it to other parishes so that it becomes a diocesan association. And we have promised the bishop that when we get established, we shall do that. I think today has been a very exciting day for the ECMA members, and thank you for coming to get the information from us so that you can also inform others who are outside there to join us. It is open for every woman who can abide with the constitution of the association.
Meanwhile, Honorable Catherine Nakuma Venjina, a member of Elderly Catholic Mothers Association Nebi Catholic Diocese, said the association was formed to build faith of Catholic women and support their spiritual journey.
I'm one of the original founder members, and we started a few, but along the road we kept on growing. Although some have gone to be with the Lord, a good number, more than 10, have passed on. But those of us who are still alive, we must thank God and inspire others to join us. Even the young ones, we should bring them on board, because as we are getting older and older, our strength is also phasing out. So we need the younger ones to come so that we can mentor them. We don't want to die with the knowledge, and nobody has monopoly over knowledge. We must share the knowledge, we must inspire others so that they can also inspire the other young one later.
Elderly Catholic Mothers Association ECMA started by 32 dynamic women in 2005 under Nebi Catholic Diocese, and now the association has attracted over 120 members who have fully subscribed to the association. This will add the members to many associations like Catholic Women Association, Lay Apostolate, Legion of Mary, among others in the Catholic Church. Alfred Jawok, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
0.
Keeping the pace within Greater Nebi and in Nebi District again, civil servants in Nebi District have received a training on strategic interventions to fight corruption at Nebi Resident District Commissioner's Office on 1st of December 2025, that was yesterday, organized by Rebuilding Ethics and Integrity Office of the President, aimed at impressing the Code of Conduct and Ethics for the Uganda Public Service in laying down standards, behavior, and attitude expected from the public officers. Look at the story.
Civil servants in Nebi District have been trained to embrace the Code of Conduct and Ethics for the Uganda Public Service to lay down standards, behavior, and attitude expected from the public officers in the entire Uganda Public Service establishment. During the one-day training at the Nebi Resident District Commissioner's Office on 1st December 2025, organized by Rebuilding Ethics and Integrity Office of the President, Nicholas Abora, Commissioner Information Rebuilding Ethics and Integrity, told the participants that National Development Plan 2 emphasizes the need to improve public sector performance and effectiveness to citizens' needs, requires, among others, to ensure public servants are accountable for the fight against corruption.
The Directorate for Ethics and Integrity is responsible for coordinating the national efforts against corruption. And we coordinate efforts against corruption by developing a framework, what we call the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. That brings all the stakeholders together to know their roles and responsibilities in the fights against corruption.
Detective ASP Alex Bonjererwa, officer in charge Criminal Investigation Department, Nebi Central Police Station, one of the participants, decried lack of protection for crime intelligence officers who handle cases of corruption among the civil servants when reported by the whistleblowers.
One of the challenges in the fighting corruption the public lacks information. We have lack of information, that's why people are getting cheated. We have going around, when a person maybe is in prison or in cells, after people here who will say, give me money, I will help you. You go and expect money. So people don't have information.
Godfred Odea, Information Officer, Nebi District Local Government, highlighted challenges of hybrid contracts from the central government, where some of the contractors do not deliver quality work in the district. He added that recently a contractor was forced to demolish 3 classroom blocks at Ndeusit Secondary School over shoddy work, as this can be attributed to corruption.
We are able to raise concerns, and because of the concerns raised by the stakeholders, the contractor was forced to demolish those 2 classroom blocks and thereafter construct them with the concrete bricks, which were made and were tested before they were used. What could we say was the factor which contributed to that success? Majorly one was the collaboration between the stakeholders, because the political leaders and the political will was quite positive, and they were able to speak the same language, and in that they were able to champion the voice and have that structure put right as we talk right now.
Meanwhile, Robert Abak, Nebi Resident District Commissioner, calls for the need for mainstream anti-corruption initiatives such as transparency and accountability in all plans, projects and programs for ministries, departments, agencies and local government.
I invited members of the district integrity forum. We sat and we had our visitors from campus, from the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity Office of the President, and we also had the staff from Inspectorate of Government. No, the office is in a process of drafting a national strategy plan, anti-corruption strategy plan for the new, for the next 5 years. So now we are trying to brainstorm, seeing where the gaps were, how do we really bridge the gap in fighting corruption. We also looked into the success stories, where we succeeded as a district in fighting corruption and why did we succeed, and where we did not do well, what caused that. So that's why we are for that kind of meeting.
To achieve this, it is imperative that public officials subscribe to and must follow the values set out in the Code of Conduct and Ethics for the Public Service. Alfred Jawok, West Nile TV, NILECAST.
Yes, before I leave the studio for the next program, the games are again bouncing back tonight. I am talking about English Premier League, Spanish Primera Division, Copa del Rey, German DFB Pokal, not forgetting about Copa Italia, and there is also a tournament called the Arab Cup. Quickly taking a look at the fixtures that are coming on the card tonight. Bournemouth will be staying at Vitality as they welcome Everton, with Manchester City taking a trip away to Private Quarters to take on Fulham as Newcastle welcome Spurs. Meanwhile, in Spanish Primera Division, there is a very big encounter between Vanda Metropolitan Club, that's Atletico Madrid, and Camp Nou Club, Barcelona. But for Barcelona, they will be taking a visit away to Atletico Madrid. And this one takes us to the other leagues, whereby we are having one game on the card in Copa Italia, with Juventus having a date with Udinese. Meanwhile, in German DFB Pokal round of 16, Mönchengladbach is having a date with St. Pauli as Hertha Berlin welcomes Kaiserslautern, with the Bayer Leverkusen traveling to Westfalenstadion to take on Borussia Dortmund. Meanwhile, RB Leipzig will have a game with Magdeburg. And I want to confirm to you, there is a big tournament, and it's a new one called the Arab Cup. And the games we are played with the African countries doing very well. Morocco, we are 3-1 winners over Comoros in a game that was played earlier on. Saudi Arabia's game with Oman will be at 8 p.m. Meanwhile, for Egypt, they had to do their game with Kuwait, and Kuwait had a red card in the process. The game ended 1-1. And a roundup of the fixtures that are coming tomorrow in English Premier League. Arsenal will be up against Brentford at Emirates as Aston Villa travels away to Brighton at Hove Albion, with Burnley set to have a tough game at a Turf Moor up against Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest, meanwhile, will visit Wolves, with Leeds staying at home as they welcome stubborn Chelsea, and Sunderland this time will leave Stadium of Light and they will travel to Anfield to take on Liverpool. And that one brings us to the summary of today's edition of NILECAST News. It has been me, Oracle Benson Pastore, in front of the lens. We'll link up again tomorrow at the same time and also for the same program.
Civil servants in Nebi district have been trained to embrace